Haircut shapes, layering shapes. What are these terms that we're using? And if you're a hair professional, you're in beauty school, cosmetology school, you're a barber, you need to really understand the different types of shapes and the different types of haircuts and techniques. So when it comes to haircut techniques, there's layering, one length, and graduation, right? Graduation, you're building weight. Layering, you're removing weight. And keeping it one length, you're creating maximum weight. That's the heaviest the hair will be, is when it comes from the scalp and works its way all the way down. That's the heaviest. Graduation, you're building weight in an area. Typically, it starts off longer and then goes in towards the head. So it's more of a out and in. The weight is going to be put on a certain area. And then layering, like this is all layered. If this wasn't all layered and all this hair came down to here, it would be very, very heavy and just lay flat. So the techniques are designed to create an end result. And I know that this may seem so basic and simple. Majority of hairstylists and barbers have no idea about what this even means, the concept, the core fundamentals of haircutting, because what you're doing is for 9 hours a day, you're watching all these people doing handstands, head flips, cartwheels, 19 sections, 45 twists, elbows to the head, this way, stabbing in the eyes. You're watching all these crazy things on social media and you're getting brainwashed by the theatrics, but all you need to do is learn how to cut hair properly. If you want to do better haircuts, then learn how to cut hair. I was fortunate enough to work for 2 major beauty companies as an educator. I worked for L'Oreal Professional as an educator early on in my career, and then I worked for Paul Mitchell as an educator. So I learned the art of communication and sharing information. I've taken things away from techniques and things I've learned from those brands. I also went to Vidal Sassoon in London. Okay, I went to where it all started, in the basement on Bond Street in London, where it all started in the basement of this building. I learned, and I want to go back to the roots of haircutting. So I learned a lot about different shapes and techniques and things like that. So these are very, very important, because you could actually put on the wrong shape on someone's head. If you're a consumer watching this, aka a non-professional, a client, a viewer, a subscriber, I created the haircut handbook guides and shape guides for you to understand what haircut shapes are and the best haircuts for face shapes, depending on those techniques. And they're only $10 each. They're ebooks. You can get them from anywhere in the world. I'm going to tag them right here in the store. You get brought to my online store, and then you can purchase them. Just wait like 30 seconds. Then you'll be able to download it instantly and have access. I have one for men's hair and women's hair, okay? On understanding haircut shapes and the best haircuts for your face shapes based around that. All your questions are answered in that. So when it comes then to the shapes, the techniques, you've got shapes. You've got round, right? You've got square, very square, and you've got triangular, which is going shorter to longer. Round usually opens the face up. It exposes all of this. Triangular, you're actually going shorter to longer, so you're closing this in. And then square is where you're actually leaving the corners in through here. It's cut like a square. Here, you're leaving this. If your head is a little bit wider, you don't want to have bulk in through here, you want the hair to lay flatter, then typically square is a good way to go. What do? I would say 90% of haircuts I've ever done, again, depending on what they are, I'm cutting a rounded shape. For me, I don't think of the shape when it comes to like calling it a certain shape. What I like to do is follow the way the hair grows out from the head. To cut hair as natural as possible. So the hair grows out from the head like this, and all different, so I figured if I want my haircuts, and this is the next whole level of this whole thing, if you want your haircuts to last, it doesn't matter if you're a barber or a hairstylist, if you want your haircuts to last, aka grow out really well, so that in 3 to 4 weeks or 5 weeks when your client comes back in and you say to them, oh my God, like how many haircuts have you had in between? Your hair looks phenomenal. They're like, you cut it last like 3-4 weeks ago. And I'm like, wait, what? I used to say that all the time. My client's hair would look better when they came in, like it was a longer version of a masterpiece, I would say, because I cut the hair to grow out. When you change your philosophy on haircutting, you want to be successful at haircuts, you want to be good at haircuts, you need to cut and this is just me talking, right? There's so many people on YouTube, so many YouTube channels and educators, they all have their own thing, right? If they want to do a construction site on your head, have 86, trucks on it, 14 different sections, they want to do a handstand while they're cutting your hair, whatever. You can listen to whoever you want. This is how I've gained success, where I can charge upwards. The last time I cut hair, I was charging $150 for a haircut. I've retired from seeing clients. If I were to start cutting hair today, again, I would charge $300 for a women's haircut and $150 for a men's haircut. That's me, right? I'd rather have 2 people in a day to pay me $300 than 14 paying me $40, if whatever the math is. So it comes down to, if you want to have that confidence to charge more because the work is going to speak for itself, then you need to learn all of these things when it comes to haircutting and shapes. So rounded to me is more like you're following the roundness of the head. Those typically are majority of the haircuts. Depending on how long or how short you create the layers is totally up to you. This is a fully rounded 90-degree angle haircut. Also, what that means is simply it's pulled out from the head to where it grows. I cut hair based off of the top, the corners, and the sides. I keep it that simple. Top, corners, sides. I hold the hair up horizontally, cut it. The corners, cut the corners. The sides, cut the sides. So it's fully symmetrical. The lengths of the hair will vary based on the haircut that I'm doing, okay? So what you have to understand is you have to take those shapes. Now, if you have someone who's got a very full, round face, for example, you may not want to create a full, rounded shape on them. You may want to create more of a triangular shape because you want to cover in and camouflage to make the face look more narrow. So you may want to leave more length in certain areas towards the face, cover this all in, maybe create some height here, a side part. You want to create a different shape on the head, on the face. And that's where the haircut shapes come into play. If you have someone who's got a very square face and you give them a very square haircut, they're going to look like a walking UPS box, okay? You don't want them to look like you can buy them at the FedEx store. You want them to look like a human being, okay? So, and if you have somebody who's got a very long face, the last thing you want to do is a triangular haircut to where you're taking their face, and even a horse is going, why the long face? So, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to do that. If you are interested in learning and having quick access to haircut shapes and what face shapes are best for those, check out my PDF ebooks right here. If you want in-depth haircutting courses, I have my own courses, not a whole lot, just a couple of haircutting courses. One for a men's haircut with scissors. I also have my signature layered haircut that I would be charging $300 for. That's a private course too. So I have all these resources available, and in the description down below you can find out where to purchase and invest in your career to get those courses. And lastly, I have my own hair products and hair tools. So, if you want to purchase any of that stuff, you can use code YouTube20, shop.thesalonguy.com. Let me know in the comments below if you found this helpful. I'm speaking mostly towards hair professionals. You're a barber, you're a hairstylist, you're in beauty school, it doesn't matter. You've been doing hair for 25, 30 years. Please, I want to connect with you. Let me know if you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.